movie is meant to be an allegory for class warfare and rich and poor. And to a certain extent, I suppose, you can either look at it like gated communities that hang on to wealth and fortify, or entire nations and the way immigration works, with the third world trying to get into the first world. Elysium could be made just about Joburg, because it does have rich and it does have poor, and they both exist in one place. I think it's almost the best place to come from to make you think of those topics, I think, if that makes sense. I think if you just grow up in poverty, you don't. And if you just grow up in wealth, you don't. But when Johannesburg forces you to see both all the time, I think there's a bunch of cities like that, like from Rio to Joburg to Mumbai, you know, it's the ones that really have that crossover.
Hello? Before we start, I'd just like to explain...
Max DaCosta, violation of Penal Code 2219, today at bus stop 34B.
Yes, that's exactly what I wanted to talk to you about. You see, I believe there's been a misunderstanding.
Immediate extension of parole by a further 8 months.
Wait, what? No. I can explain what happened. I just made a joke, and, you know...
Stop talking. Elevation in heart rate detected. Would you like a pill?
If you're used to America, and you think that this is what America is, I want to show you, Americans, a version of America where maybe the tables are turned, and maybe you live in poverty, and this is what it looks like, right? So to put someone recognizable, like this corn-fed white boy, in that environment, who lives in a shack, who's a movie star, is a cool way to do that, you know? And so that really was the primary reason, putting aside how, you know, just talented he is and that he would bring it to life. That idea of a movie star in a shack is just it's a cool idea. An 11-year-old watching Star Wars doesn't really, there's nothing else going on there except Star Wars. And the surface level stuff, the genre stuff, right? So 50% of me is that genre person. Like, if there isn't magical, fantastical stuff, like, I'm kind of not really totally interested. As I got older, what started to happen was I started to realize that science fiction actually is a place where I can take all of my favorite elements of filmmaking, and I can also talk about things that I just observe as a citizen of Earth, and sort of portray them in a way that you put the audience in a place that they're looking at the same topics, but the science fiction disguises it and changes it. It changes your point of view on it. At the time you're watching it from a different place. Like if you watch Elysium, you're watching it from a place of poverty, looking up, which is the same as like being in, you know, Juarez in Mexico, looking at wanting to get into America.